I'd like to call this meeting to order for the Blackhawk County Board of Supervisors for December 27th, 2023. Roll call, please, Mr. Jamison.
Hall.
Here.
Little. He was here a second ago,
Oh,
so
he
we'll
was.
see if he comes back. Sorry. Schwartz.
Here.
Trelka. Leyland.
Here. Kind of much. Thank you. Would everyone please join us in a moment of silence to reflect on our actions today? Thank you. Please join us in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge
pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Item 1 is the agenda received as proposed or amended.
So moved.
Second?
All in favor, say aye.
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 Opposed, same sign. Agenda's received. Item 2 is public comments. Is there anyone in the audience today that would like to speak on anything that is not on today's agenda? Anyone on Zoom? And Mr. Jamison, I see we have Mr. Trelka join us. I don't see Tom yet. Thank you. Item 3 is the presentations, the department highlights of 2023. The exciting part of today, so thank you. Thank you for going first, Amanda.
Yeah, I was listed first, so I just figured out to kick it off.
That'd be great. Thank you.
All right, so I got to figure this out. Sorry, Corey.
No, you're fine.
Okay.
And this should be the first one.
Actually, I
Looks like
think
Tom's
that's
joined
mine.
us
Yep.
too.
Okay. Yeah,
And
and
then
this
do
F5 will take a full
Yeah,
screen.
Tom
so
as well.
Bring it back.
Yeah.
Okay.
But you have to share on Zoom too. So.
Oh, well. Glad you're up here.
Go to Zoom.
Okay.
Click on this, and then you'll need to click on the. Let's bring this up. Click on the. There. Now
There
go
you
back to Zoom.
Okay.
Share button is down here. Share screen.
And this one, right?
Yep.
Okay.
And now you can go back here and make this full screen. Well, click on it, make it active first. There you go.
Ah, okay. I'll need your assistance. Okay. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and get started here. So we have our 2023 recap for human resources. So just a brief presentation. First, just want to talk about our purpose for Blackhawk County. So that it's our purpose as the HR department to provide quality human resources services and support to the Board of Supervisors and county departments that result in effective and efficient government services for our communities. The county operations are dependent upon the energies of a 400-plus workforce, and that is responsive, dedicated, engaged in developing trust, building relationships, and delivering exceptional service. As a team in HR, we take great pride in being part of a public service team and believe each employee contributes directly to the county's growth and success. So that, in a nutshell, is kind of what drives our purpose in human resources for Blackhawk County. Just want to revisit our team members. So part of this year, we kind of did a restructuring that was supported by the Board of Supervisors within our office. I used to have a setup with the specialists being focused in certain areas, and then we kind of broadened their scope in order to have a more versatile staff. So we have Cherry Gallmeyer, our senior HR generalist, Anna Knapp, our HR generalist, and we'll have Megan Groh joining us next month as our HR intern. Okay, so really quick here, just a few highlights from 2023. So everyone recalls that we changed to Wellmark as our third-party administrator for the medical plan. That occurred on July 1st, and that was through an RFP process. We also enhanced our EAP services and our education of our EAP program. That also kicked off July 1st. We conducted a countywide classification and compensation study. We held multiple professional development workshops, which one I'll kind of highlight here most recently, the Discover Your Strengths workshop. We completed our EEO4 report submission, which is a requirement of being a state and local government entity. We also, our collective bargaining recertification went through smoothly. We had all of our unions recertify in order for labor negotiations to begin next month. And then we had 3 software implementations that either we led or are playing a major role in. The applicant tracking and onboarding through NeoGov due to our current applicant tracking system sunsetting. We had the mobile online capability for benefit enrollment. And then we are partnering with finance, payroll, and other key members throughout the county in, I guess, implementing a new time and attendance system. So it's been a pretty busy year for us. So I thought this was kind of interesting just to kind of touch on the professional development workshops that we've held. Earlier this month, we had Tracy McCausland do a Discover Your Strengths assessment for employees. We had 2 workshops, had 113 people complete the assessments and over 100 people attend the workshop. This is a kind of a summary of where Blackhawk County, our top 5 strengths. 42% of the respondents said that it found that responsibility is a key strength, followed by harmony, relator, learner, and achiever. So as a team, we bring dependability and loyalty. We have a peace-loving, conflict-resistant approach. We have social depth and transparency. We have a learning perspective and an intensity and stamina for effort. Here's what we need as a team: freedom to take ownership, areas of agreement, common ground, time and opportunities for one-on-one interactions, exposure to new information and experiences, and the freedom to work at our own pace. And then we have what we're motivated by, the respect of others, the sacrifice of personal agendas to facilitate group performance, close, caring, and mutual relationships, to live on the frontier, the cutting edge, and completing tasks. So I just want to pause here for a moment because I think this is really brilliant of our staff, and it was a really great workshop for people to understand what naturally kind of comes easy to them and to be reminded of our strengths. That was a key driving point throughout the workshops, that sometimes we can focus on our deficiencies, but it was a great reminder to understand and have an opportunity to explore what really makes us reliable in our strengths and how we operate as an entire entity across the different offices and departments and operations. So this is only based on 113 responses, so it's not necessarily everyone. But I do hope to continue this kind of training over the back half of this next year and then into next fiscal year. 2 of the groups that we kind of missed, and that's always a difficult group to capture with this type of training, is our 24/7 operations, so dispatch and sheriff. We often have to do multiple iterations of this on their schedule to get all of their staff exposed to these kind of professional development opportunities. But otherwise, we've had almost every department represented by different workforce members, so which was great. Just a couple stats here. So we had this year, our office had posted 78 job postings. 72% of those started out as internal postings. Most of our jobs here are union, and so there is a bidding process that we adhere to. We hired 66 new employees. We had 20 internal promotions and bids, and we had 54 separations, 22% of those representing retirements. So. Just wanted to kind of highlight from the EEO4 report that we submitted some of the demographics and trends that we're going to see in the next couple slides. So this graph, it might be a little tough to see, but there's it's comparing fiscal year 21 EEO4 report, this current fiscal year 23, and then the 2020 census. So you can kind of see the brightest green bar is our 2020 census data as for Blackhawk County and the different demographics here by race. And then you're seeing the trends that we have with regards to our workforce. So our goal is to really capture or be able to be representing each of the populations within Blackhawk County within our workforce. And we seem to be on the right trend to getting to where the 2020 census is pointing us to. So we're right split down the middle for male and female representation according to the EEO4 and how we divide that information up. And then another interesting demographic here is just kind of the generations that we have in our workforce today. We have some Gen Z, we have millennials and Gen X representing the largest portions of our workforce, and then we have baby boomers as well, about 16%. we'll talk a little bit about kind of what we're looking ahead at, but I think this type of information is good to look at each year, and for us to kind of have an idea from the board as to how we need to tweak different benefits, programs, activities that Human Resources offers and supports. Thinking about the baby boomer generation, we have right now like 9% of our workforce that could just up and retire. They're just retirement eligible. They could hand in a 2-week notice, and that's a pretty large number that's just going to grow over the next couple of years. So looking ahead, here are the things that we'd like to plan on focusing for the next year to possibly 3 years, looking at longer range plans as well. In the immediate, we're looking at total rewards philosophy. That's something that the classification compensation consultant emphasized to us. We'd like to have that discussion and bring that back to the board next month. But that's also, the compensation philosophy, but really just our total rewards, positioning our benefits, our time off plans, our compensation, where do we want to fall as an agency when it comes to competitiveness and rewards. With that as well, we need to spend a little time on performance management system, and that's just something across all of the departments. We have a wide range of those that complete them, those that, would like to see a new tool, and those that kind of feel like they're not really sure what the point of this if you just continue to automatically get raises and things like that. So we have some room to improve on with our performance management tool, and something that we'll be looking at focusing on here in the next year. I think we're due for an employee engagement survey, so that's something you may hear about next month or in February whenever I get to present our budget. We often do exit interviews, but we don't typically do stay interviews or engagement type feedback opportunities. So that would be something we're looking forward to possibly next fiscal year. And hopefully those results can help kind of drive some strategic planning and goal setting. I know strategic planning has been something for, I believe, this fiscal year that the board considered looking at with our rebranding, but we'd like to kind of see some presence with the workforce, in the current vision or the revised vision and mission. Succession planning, so just looking at those demographics and thinking about key roles that we have here across the county, whether, we have a vacancy due to resignation or retirement, but constantly looking at, what do we need to do to be thinking ahead and preparing ourselves as an organization to have a strong succession plan. And then policy review is just an area that for us that I feel I need to kind of focus on. It's gotten a little away from me this past couple of years with all the other projects, so we'll be looking at that as well. And that is all I have for our year in review. But
That's great. That was a lot. I was going to say, because there's a lot you forget over the course of the year, so I appreciate
Yes.
some of that.
Yep, it's been a good year. We appreciate all the support from the Board of Supervisors. We're, we've had a lot of changes. We've had a lot of ideas come about, and I think we, look forward to continuing on that path with looking at different ways that we can have an impact. I think that's always the main thing for us. That we just are really appreciative of the opportunity to support all the departments and enjoy working with everyone and the leadership and the staff. And if there's anything that you guys, are looking for, we would be open to some kind of champion or some kind of direction when it comes to our services and the work that we do. So
There's a lot accomplished when you think of how much the classification and compensation study really took of your time, you and your department as well as others too, but it was like, still great.
yeah,
great
no,
report.
that was a big lift. We had a lot of things going on this year, but and still yet to come with negotiations.
nice to
so
see
we'll
what
be
you
happy
kind of
when
yeah.
really this fiscal year is kind of behind us because it's just been busy. But
It is.
any questions at all about anything I presented or concerns?
No,
All right. Well, thank you so much for the opportunity to present our year.
thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Stop share.
Yep, and then.
Okay.
Perfect.
Okay. I think I'm out of there.
So if Mr. Givings prepared to go next, otherwise we can go out of order, but if that works, okay.
Tough act to follow.
Oh, I don't know about that. Okay. Oh, you know what? I think I did that. Okay. So now I'm out. Oops.
Oh, did you-
You don't know. Do you have something up
Yeah,
here?
yeah,
Oh, I'm
yes.
so sorry. Maintenance. I had it up
Oh,
here.
Yeah, it's go into Zoom, hit share screen.
Share screen.
There you go,
And then
F5.
get to enable content there. Ta-da. All right. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good morning, Board. Rory Giving, Facilities Director.
Morning.
So I did not have a slide for this, but as Amanda was talking, I felt she had mentioned their mission statement, so I'm going to start off with just reading through that because that kind of plays into how this last year has gone for the maintenance department. So for the maintenance department, it is the mission of Blackhawk County Maintenance Department to maintain an environment within our buildings and our grounds that is safe, pleasant, functional for all employees and the public by providing professional, high-quality maintenance services in the most cost-effective manner. So that is our maintenance mission statement, which is on our website. So as I go through, let's see, do I just arrow, Corey?
There's 4 space bars.
Okay. There we go. All right, so maintenance ground staff. As you know, we do have a maintenance software program that we've utilized here for the last couple of years. This program, each year, we expand on it. It's kind of been a live program. It gets better and better as time goes by. Just wanted to kind of point out a few of the highlights. So we have unplanned maintenance work orders, roughly just a little over 2,800 of those for the year. I would imagine that number would be quite higher, but as I mentioned, this is something that maintenance continues to work on, continues to input data into this program. Our goal is to increase that preventative maintenance. That's always kind of what we look at in the maintenance department, is to be more preventative, less reactive. But in reality, those unplanned maintenance work orders, that is just the nature of that department. And then I've got the in-house labor, which we'll talk about here as we go through. This is just a snapshot of what that Limbo program looks like. So we have each of our facilities. We have functions on this as well. You'll see code enforcement's listed there. We have our flood buyout properties, our 3 big facilities. We have our solar arrays that are off-site. And this is just a way for us as a department to really track our performance and how we're doing. So it is a very nice program. One thing within this program that we will start expanding on a little heavier, it would be assets, inventory, making sure that we have some of those critical spare parts on hand. Particularly important nowadays with the long lead times that we're seeing with certain equipment. So that's something that we'll be focusing on pretty heavy throughout the years to come. This is just, as I had mentioned, in-house labor. That is something that me and our staff and myself, we take a lot of pride in, that we're able to do quite a bit of the labor that comes up in-house, preventing us from having to outsource. So this first picture here, it doesn't look like much, but what that is it's an air handler which serves the jail. And as you can see, it's very rusty there. I wish that I had a picture of the after product, but our staff spent a great deal of time, went in and sanded that down and recoated it, resurfaced it. In my opinion, we saved thousands of dollars by doing that, because if we would have had to outsource that, that system probably would have had to be decommissioned and replaced. So that was a kind of a highlight for us in our department to be able to do things like that. And it was a group effort among all of the staff. The next one is just identifies, some throughout the years, I'm sure you've heard me talk about unexpected repairs that come up with regards to our plumbing. We have some very nice tools now that allow us to do most of that in-house. Just to make a repair on that one line, if we were to have to outsource that, could be anywhere from $25,000 to $3,000. So yeah, that's a huge accomplishment to be able to do the majority of those things in-house now. There's still some things that we have to outsource, but for the most part, most of that is covered in-house. There isn't, even though our staff, we're small in numbers, we're pretty mighty in presence. There's several projects that there really isn't a whole lot that we don't have involvement in with regards to the county, with the exception of secondary roads conservation. But this next one just shows the chapel, and this project was headed up by the health department, but we did have some involvement with that to just kind of some oversight and with the electrical and so forth. I have several other projects, but these are some that I just had pictures of, so I wanted to be able to share with the board. Here's a picture, again, a health department project, but something we're very proud of, kind of a group effort, and I'm sure maybe Caitlin might even talk about this one as well. But this is our digital sign out in front of the Pinecrest facility. This middle slide, one thing that the department had been really focused on this year, I don't know if any of you have any have been in the basement of the Pinecrest facility, but it looks great. Our mechanics have been spending a lot of time doing house cleaning, and that's actually throughout all of our facilities, the jail, the courthouse, and Pinecrest, the three big major buildings. So I just wanted to share that because that is something our department takes a lot of pride in, and that actually looks very good compared to what we've had in the past. So just wanted to highlight that. This next one, oops, sorry. You can't really see it. I don't know, Corey, if I can, but this is the new bus shelter over at Pinecrest. We actually got that installed last week, and that was a help with the conservation department. Which they help us a lot throughout the year on different things, different projects. But that was a nice fit, a nice addition to that facility. So hopefully that serves well for people that are waiting for the bus. Code enforcement. We don't, every once in a while we run into a success story. Most of the time it's a challenge to get property owners to abide by our ordinance. It's something that is kind of a constant within our department. Some enforcements can drag out for quite some time. This one happens to be in Washburn. This is a photo of a house that was abandoned, and believe it or not, there's houses right next door or all around this property. So as you can imagine, it's quite an eyesore. We were able to track down the property owner, and this is an afterwards picture of them going in and cleaning it all up. So that's as of now. I'm sure we're probably going to get called back out to this property again in the future, but that was just one success story with regards to code enforcement. Safety accomplishments. As you know, we do have our safety coordinator now, and Brad, he's been very busy this last year. He's actually doing training now for CPR, so he is trained to train CPR, which is a big accomplishment. Fall protection, he's done quite a bit of training throughout the multiple departments. I know Kathy's had him out there with secondary roads doing fall protection, hearing protection, and so forth. He is our liaison with IMWCA and ICAP. We've performed radon testing through our big three buildings, and he's just a great resource for departments. Yeah, we've had a very busy year and a lot of accomplishments with regards to safety, and I hope that moving forward we'll see a positive result with regards to ICAP, IMWCA. We had 100% no deficiency annual fire inspection over at the jail. That's never happened, so that's pretty huge for us. Take a lot of pride, and that kind of goes hand in hand with the staff doing the cleanup and just really getting after it this year with our facilities as far as organization and so forth. So that's actually quite an accomplishment to get 100% on a fire inspection. That just does not happen. In my 20-plus years, I've never had that, so that's pretty nice. Planning and designing are, and those, what looks like pool loungers, that picture was just kind of spread out. Those are not pool loungers, those are actually chairs. But as I'm looking at that, that does look kind of goofy, but that's actually a picture of our treasurer department in the lobby. We've spent a great deal of time in planning and designing. That's this year, that's kind of been our theme within our department, our admin staff, Carol and myself. Meetings after meetings. So that's really been kind of what we been working on this year. And then the next part, we're hoping that we're going to start seeing some of the accomplishments from that planning and designing. So yeah, very nice. This is a looking out of the auditor's department. This kind of shows the ADA compliance counters and what those will look like. And our goal is to get through this project and then carry this concept through the rest of the counters that we have that are currently not ADA compliant. This is what the lower conference room is going to look like. It's going to be a very nice addition to the courthouse. Essentially, it's going to double in size. It's not going to have the white chairs and the white tables. That was just kind of part of this picture, but as I'm looking at it, it is kind of neat. But
Stop to take advantage of it.
yeah, so yeah, Ray Mount. I know we've talked about that quite a bit, even though we've signed a purchase order. We have not been able to occupy the building yet, but I do feel that that was accomplishment for the year, because that's going to be a great asset for both the engineering department and the maintenance department. So we're looking forward to getting that process moving forward. And then as when budget discussions come up here, we do have quite a few items that are going to be in line with this facility. So we're looking forward to that. I know there's a lot more, but like I said, I tried to just go through and pick out some highlights. So that's kind of our year. You know, it's a lot to with the amount of facilities that we have and the small staff. I commend them. They do a great job, and I hope that everybody else feels the same. So
I think
thank you very much.
that was a great summary. Yeah, I appreciate it. I was going to say, there's just so much information you do forget from time to time, so it's great to have the projects and a look at what's coming yet.
Yeah.
I know you said you were done with planning. You thought maybe that'd soon be behind, but there's
Oh, there's
Whole
going to
bunch
be
still on
more.
your plate,
There's
I
going to be
know.
more. You know, we have the health department coming up. That's going to be a big one. We've had a lot of conversations back and forth with EPI. You know, that all takes a lot of our time, but I hope in the long run, it's all going to pay off, and we're going to have some very good win-win for everybody. So, yeah,
for sure. Yeah, great
Looking forward to
presentation. Yeah, thank you.
thank you very much.
Oh, sorry. No, I got it.
Now we're gonna see if I can share. I don't have the, here we go. So, you're not going to see fancy animation. There's not even much in here for pictures, so I'm sorry I can't measure up to everyone else. But it's been quite a first year here for me. I started just the end of October of 2022, so just past that first year. And our first challenge was the administrative aid position. The person that had been here had resigned and left, I think, the 1st of December last year, so right after I started. We were fortunate enough to have a temp for the first 7 months, who was familiar to everyone, Debbie Bunger, who had worked for the county for many years before that. But then we were able to hire Lori Wormers starting in July, so we're coming up on 6 months with that. And we've both been working on learning agenda protocol and getting all that scheduling done. And just a couple other things that I've been working on, the capital improvement plan that we talked about. We did some of that last year during the budget process, and there will be much more to come this year. Also participated in our logo committee. Then the audit, people hear us talk about working on the audit for a lot. I just kind of went through and roughly added up some of the work that I worked on, and what I do is a lot of support of other departments. So there are other people who do pieces, but then you have to pull it together. So I know I worked on about 300 work papers, and then in addition to that, provided just copies of more than 100 documents to the auditors. And again, work with a lot of other departments on things, which is really what I do all the time, is mostly work on things with other departments. And filed the annual reports, which were both approved by the board for both fiscal 22 and 23. And then the budget is probably the thing that people hear me talk about the most. And so we went through that process last year. My role is really just to coordinate the department budgets. We have really good staff who all develop their own and do a nice job with it. We had 17 budget meetings with the full board last year, and a couple things that are maybe not things that can be reproduced very often, but we were able to hold our residential property taxes to the prior year level last year. So there was a 0% change to residential property owners, and commercial was actually lower. We were actually able to reduce our total property tax collections by 1.5% last year, which is also an unusual thing. That's partly due to a little bit of the mental health law change and some other changes in the way we do budgeting that we were able to do that. And if you remember, we were working through our department budgets when the state decided to change how they did the property valuations last year, so then we had to adjust them again before we were done. And then we always do at least one budget amendment. We did only do one last year in the spring. That was all those budget highlights. Other things, these are just pretty much things I can remember working on. I'm sure there's others. But one of the first things I did was work with Urban Services, Inc. on the Washburn Rural Sewer System. Their contract had not been revised for quite a few years, and so we updated that. And of course, Mike Trinan was also, worked on a lot of the contracts with us. And we also developed a contract for the pump panel replacement project that's currently underway for the Washburn system. I've worked a lot with the ARPA funding and projects, committee meetings, looking at applications, working with, particularly with Rory on building changes, and tried to work on coming up with the funding allocations and how much money we had available to do different projects. Another thing that happened shortly after I started, there were changes being made to the Sheriff's 60/40 fund. So I had the opportunity to collaborate with Captain Neff and Sheriff Thompson on a revised policy for that. I'm sure you all remember Consolidated Communications. We had lots of meetings about potentially changing the funding method for that. That was kind of funny. We were saying how many more meetings they had. Typically, the Oversight Board, which includes the Board of Supervisors, meets once a year. We met at least 9 times last year, and then there were lots of internal meetings in addition to that, so that also took a lot of time. Another thing that I worked with the Sheriff's Office on was their inmate medical services. That was another contract that hadn't been updated for a number of years, and so we went through a lengthy process of putting out a new RFP. We did issue a bond issue last summer that was only for Blackhawk County solid waste, but the process that we go through with the finances is the same as if we were issuing it for ourselves. So that was, I did a Moody's presentation and developed a lot of statistics for that was very educational for the county, for me. We also, as you know, we started receiving opioid settlement funds. I went to a 2-day training about that, and we're also working on 2 contracts that will use some of those funds annually. You may remember we now have a contract with Pathways in the jail, and we are just about ready to bring a contract to you for services that will be provided by One City United. Other things, I also participated in the committee that evaluated the healthcare plan, third-party administrators, and have participated in the classification and compensation study committee, and am participating in the new electronic timesheet software implementation. So those are just some of the things I've kept busy doing, and I'm happy to work with the board, and it's been a fun year to be here, and great staff, great people to work with, so I'm enjoying it.
Fun year to be here. I'm going to remember that. We have to remember that as we go into.
Well, you know, there are different definitions of the word fun.
Yeah. As we enter the budget cycle.
Yes.
It's like lots of fun to go on. No, appreciate that. I was going to say, there's so many things that you do, though. I said that I think we aren't aware of at times in working with the departments and even that are going on in the departments. So it's like, that was a nice recap. All the many meetings, too, that we had for a couple of things that we don't typically. So they were some additional. So thanks very much. Veteran Affairs, and I know, Mr. Lovelace, you submitted some slides for us, but I thought I did not take away some of your presentation for today.
No, I should be okay.
Okay, super.
Good morning. I'm
Good
Yolanda
morning.
Lovelace, the Director of Blackhawk County Veterans Affairs. I have to apologize. My eyes are a little dim from. There was a supervisor that we had a Christmas party for, and he had the brightest lights. And now I have to go to, as you know, to a medical appointment just because of my eyes from that standpoint. But good morning. And so our year in review is pretty much an 11-month calendar year review. We're still in the month of December, and so we're still processing and helping veterans in that standpoint. But what a year we had in that standpoint. A couple of things that we're looking at is just point of interest is our community outreach. And in our community outreach is how we generate interest into our office. Our service to veterans is pretty much how we generate a residual income for our veterans and surviving spouses. And then donation and revenue is pretty much how we help with federal dollars coming in that standpoint. So one thing that I wanted to point out was that Sergeant Lang, he says no longer forgotten. He's one of the escorts that we've done the last 3 years where didn't have a family member, so his remains were escorted down to the Iowa Veteran Cemetery in that standpoint. But he was someone that was from Waterloo, served in Vietnam, earning a Vietnam Service Medal with 2 Bronze Stars, a Vietnam Campaign Medal, and a Combat Infantry Badge, and overseas. He served about 6 years, but it's one of our heroes that we had an honor to escort down to his final resting. Committed to service, and that's what we are in that standpoint. And I just wanted to share that quote with you from Abraham Lincoln, because that's kind of like how we live by, which is we need to look out for our surviving family members and survivors who have borne the battle to defend this great country in that standpoint. Then some of our accomplishments, as you know, I come at least once a month or at least every other month and kind of give you an update. Again, transparency is the key in that standpoint, but when we look at some of our outreach areas, you can see that we participated. And when I say staff and commission, our commissioners have been probably the most proactive commission in the last 8 years when it comes to getting into the veterans community and being involved in that. And you can see throughout the 11 months, we participated in 93 community events, 55 veteran funerals. One of the big things that, again, that we brag on is supporting those 1,100 meals for veterans throughout the summer. And that's one of those ways of highlighting what we do best in that standpoint, and then building community ramps. And
And then when we get down to our service for veterans, this is the meat of what we do. This is what you pay us to do. And so I need to pause and say I need to pat my staff on the back. My staff, if it wasn't for the success of our staff, we couldn't complete any of this. So that my ET 3 veteran staff members contribute to the behind the scenes success of some of these statistics in that standpoint. One big one to point out is we have generated such a service to veterans that you can see we had 172 veterans from outside of Black Hawk County that came and visit us to say, hey, can you help us because we're not getting the help in our county, or the representation, or the service that we provide. It got out to the other counties that say, hey, you want to go to Black Hawk County if you really want to get your claim processed in that standpoint. We take pride in that. That 172, that residual income that veteran or that spouse gets, it goes to that other county. But again, the emphasis is on, if you go back to Lincoln's statement, is taking care of veterans. And so that's what we take care, look at and take pride in. And then when we get it down to our service to veterans, again, you can see some of our statistical numbers there. Again, what I take pride in is the surviving spouses gift cards. Each year, we look at how many surviving spouses, how many veterans we lost that we've interacted with and worked with, and then making sure that we interact with those surviving spouses to let them know that we haven't forgotten them. And we get that return on investment because we get those good cards coming back in saying, hey, thank you. Had a hard year this year, but thank you for remembering my spouse in that standpoint, or remembering us. And that's one of the things that we take on our shoulders at our job is we will be working with a veteran, in particular, let's say a veteran who has stage 4 cancer. We get them a service-connected disability, and we've had that about 6 times this year where that veteran transitions that same year that he got his claim and that standpoint. So those are the things that we take on, but as part of that job. And then the nursing homes, as you guys can see there. Then lastly, the donations and revenue blows me away that our community is this supportive of our office, and almost $60K in donations for various things that we do, whether it's ramps, whether it's Christmas, in that standpoint. And then as we look at the end of the year where we're getting towards the holidays, a lot of our donations are just gift cards. And so you can see our total numbers in gift cards on hand as of today in various areas that we could help veterans in that standpoint. And again, it goes back to that last number, 1,900 veterans and dependents are receiving, some type of federal compensation totaling about $3 million in that standpoint. Then lastly, our summary, because I'm being fast today, and I can't see because of Chris's thing. But no, we had a good year. Colonel Koff, who's right here behind me, he relieved Colonel Warrington as our chair of our Veteran Commission. And then Colonel Warrington, with her involvement in the cleanup and repair of veteran gravestones and markers, got our office involved in that. And so that's another thing that now we're looking at what else can we do, and that's one of them that we can do as far as giving back to the community in that standpoint. We also had a new chair. Not a new chair, but a new commissioner. And then when we talk about delivering to our customers, you can see that. One thing that we did was we did revise our mission statement to reflect the state's mission statement. And so we cut it down and consolidated it, and it's with the commission that we worked with. And that our commission statement now says assist veterans and their dependents' needs to which they are entitled to. It used to be a big blanket statement. We cut it down to the meats and bare bone, and we live by that in that standpoint. And then our customers keep coming back, and one big thing that I like to take my hat off to is our commissioner involvement. The signing of the PACT Act also allowed more people to come in and to say, hey, am I entitled to health care? Am I entitled to this type of compensation? So that helped not just our county, but helped all 99 counties throughout the state of Iowa. And then making a change to veterans You can see that we had a 15% monthly increase in compensation. When we look at where we're at in fiscal year or calendar year 22 to where we're at calendar year 23, we went from 2.7 to 3.1 million in federal dollars coming into Black Hawk County. And then so all of these things that we kind of talked about, that's the key. How do we provide that residual income to that either that veteran or that surviving spouse to help them with the cost of living? And it's, I'm a taxpayer too, so I actually pay into helping these veterans, right, in that standpoint. But I'm just glad that we serve a country that does look out for a veteran community in that standpoint. And then some of our thank yous. One of them, I just want to thank the auditor's office. They just made a contribution to our donation to our Operation Christmas. I know the Sheriff Department has done it in the past. Human Resources, we like to thank them because of just keeping us together in that standpoint. IT office and all the great things that they have done for us over at facilities. And then Rory and his group in particular. I could say that for almost every department, whether it's down in Treasury and whether it's Michelle, I could say that across the board. I really do like where I'm at in this position. I just don't know how long I'll be able to serve in that standpoint. But I take my hat off to each and every one of you, to include our health department and the great things that they're doing and what we look forward to in the coming year. So again, just thank you for what you do and thank you for your service. We get that all the time as veterans, but we don't return that to our partners that we interact with every day to make our job successful. So other than that, that is all I have. Colonel, did you have anything that you want to say, sir?
Colonel Henry Korf, I'm the chairman, and Linda, I wanted to thank you for putting this on because it gives us an opportunity, I think, as departments to show and highlight what we do during the year that not everybody gets to see. But my reason to come up here is, as you got to see Yolando kind of put out what his staff is doing and what the department's doing, but I want to highlight Yolando. I've been a customer of the Black Hawk County VA when I came back from Saudi 3 years ago, and they helped me with my claims and so forth. I've been a member of the commission and now the chairman, but Yolando makes our job extremely easy. He's extremely transparent. He's very fiscally responsible. He encourages his staff. He highlights all the things that we try to do, but I don't think he gets enough praise for really the significant impact he has in this county for our veterans over the last 5 years coming on as the director. So I really do want to highlight Yolando this morning because obviously it's hard to toot your own horn sometimes, but really I think the success of our Veterans Affairs office here in the county is because of Yolando. So thank you for that opportunity.
Thank you very much for taking that opportunity. It's nice to know, and we probably don't. You're right, I'm sure we don't appreciate any of them as far as often enough and as much as we should. So this was a great opportunity, I guess, to recap, and we're appreciative of all the things you do, Yolanda, too, with all our staff. Public Health, Caitlin. This is probably a repeat performance for you, I know, but this will be great for us too. Yeah.
Good morning.
Good morning.
I did change it up a little bit.
Okay.
So the board had the opportunity to kind of get our official year in review. Gosh, was that only last week? I think so. Last week. So my presentation today is a little more visually appealing. And I'm going to hope and pray that I do this right. Where'd my mouse go? Corey, help me.
Did you share it first?
No, it's not shared yet. But I lost my mouse. It's kind of an elusive little guy.
Yeah, let's go to Zoom first. Get our mouse back. Share screen.
I need sound. Share screen. Thank you.
Which one is it?
This. Yeah.
There you go.
Okay. and I have my cheat sheet with my stats on my phone here, so I'm going to just refer to that throughout the presentation. So just so you're in review, I do have some highlights from each of our programs that hopefully aren't too repetitive from what I have already shared, but kind of like our other departments, just want to share briefly our vision and our mission. Something I really like to highlight in our vision is the statement on equitable opportunities and resources for everyone. We also have a set of core values that was established before I joined public health, and I try to bring those up at our all-staff meetings or through our newsletters or things like that, but it's something that we really try to encourage within our staff to really make our department a great place to work. And so this is a picture of our public health staff. Gabby worked her magic to make sure that everyone's in the picture, even if they weren't in the picture. So we have 58 full-time equivalent employees across 5 programmatic areas in the department: administration, environmental health, disease surveillance and investigation, community health, and our public health center. I did bring our biennial report with me in case anyone wants a copy. We kind of officially covered this last week at our joint Board of Health Board of Supervisor meeting, so I'm not going to rehash everything that's in there, but I just wanted to point that out. It is on our website as well, so anyone that's watching on Zoom, I encourage them to go to our website and check out our biennial report. Also, our 2024 advocacy priorities, I have a copy with me if anyone wants those. Those are also on our website under our announcements section.
Well, free to highlight any that you want to, because like I said, this is for the public, but
Sure.
all of us as staff as well. And
Yeah.
just because the board's seen some of it, so thank you.
Sure, I will just kind of pause and go into our advocacy priorities briefly. We have 4. Strengthen the workforce through flexible and sustainable funding for public health. We know during times of public health emergencies, such as the COVID pandemic, funding for public health increases, but in order for us to be prepared for any pandemic, we need kind of that basic infrastructure to be in place. And we have seen quite a change in our workforce, as I've talked about in the past, and is happening across the state and nation. And so this is really about, investing resources wisely and having a seat at the table for infrastructure and workforce development conversations. Our second one is the impact of tooth decay on learning. We at Blackhawk County Public Health provide iSmile services, and so we have a little bit of insight into oral health and tooth decay rates that are happening in our community. 33% of children that we screened in FY23 had tooth decay. That's too high. And so really what we're advocating for and trying to share as a priority is that we know that children are not getting the preventative care that they need due to their inability to get into a dentist because of dentists not accepting children that are covered by Medicaid because the reimbursement rates are too low. In some cases, dentists are losing money by seeing children on Medicaid. And the long-term costs are much higher than the preventative costs. Our third one is mental health. Mental health is one of our top priorities for our community in terms of health. And so really just trying to bring awareness to the impact of mental health on communities and individuals, and the importance of investing in mental health systems to support our communities. And then our fourth and final one is really the impact of housing instability on well-being and health. And knowing that housing is really a determinant of health. And there's also a linkage between mental health and housing as well. And so we know that housing instability has long-term effects of people's health, and to really try to stabilize people that want to be housed to be housed. Okay, I'm going to keep moving on. if there's anything else you want me to stop and dig into, just let me know and I will. Something that I haven't really shared too much about, that I'm taking the opportunity to do so today, is just to highlight some internal committees that we have that are public health specific. So this list is all of the committees that we have internal that staff sit in on. So accreditation, policy, advocacy, which is the group that developed the priorities, our quality improvement committee, our strategic plan committee, communication, and then information, technology, maintenance, and safety, which have the asterisks next to them, are all committees that have other staff from other departments in the county that sit in on them. So information technology obviously has our IT partners on that. Maintenance, Rory and Carol sit in on that one. And then safety is actually the countywide committee that we participate in and that we have staff attend. We also have an internal wellness committee that hosts at least one event every month for staff. Performance management, which is not the performance management that Amanda talks about, but this is more about how it ties into quality improvement and how are we measuring outputs and outcomes and implementing quality improvement when things are not going the way that we want them to go. And then workforce development as our final one. So we have a lot of internal planning that happens. Roy talked about planning. We do planning in a little bit of different way through our committee work, and it's been very intentional for me in my time kind of in a leadership role to be able to engage staff. And so it's not just our management team that sits on these committees, it's staff at all levels that have the opportunity to participate. So I'm going to do some quick updates from our programmatic areas. First from disease surveillance and investigation. And this is where I need my little cheat sheet. So our disease surveillance and investigation team, each of our teams is about 10 people. And so I don't have the numbers from 2023 yet because we haven't closed out the 2023 year. But in FY23, so that ended in June, our STI team received 1,754 reports of communicable diseases and followed up on them to, confirm or rule out those, or in some cases we don't do an investigation, but we kind of record and file. In 2022, we followed up on 1,401 reportable diseases that were sexually transmitted infections, 68 that were enteric diseases, such as like E. coli, for example, 8 active tuberculosis cases, and 2 animal bites to rule out for rabies. And then the graph at the bottom here, that bar chart, is kind of looking at TB disease prevalence by year. So I talk about TB prevalence a lot because it's something that we're monitoring very closely. In 2023, and this was as of August when Sarah gave this update to our Board of Health, we had 17 patients that we had at one point in time provided tuberculosis case management services for as active TB cases, which means they have active tuberculosis disease. And then the kind of tan line with that is just the number of cases to public health nurse ratio. So like the workload that our public health nurses that are doing TB disease investigation, what their workload is looking like. So this is an accomplishment in the fact that we're doing it, but it is still a challenge that we have. Moving on to our community health team, First Five is a program that provides care coordination services for children between the ages of 0 and 5 with developmental or mental health concerns. And in FY23, they provided those services to 209 families in our 4-county service area. This is funding that comes through a grant to us from the Iowa Department of Health and Human Services, so we do have that service area. But 82% were received from Blackhawk County medical clinics. And the picture here of William, Lena, and Tracy, these are our 3 Rockstar staff members that provide First Five services. Our nutrition education team reached almost 1,986 kids in 7 schools in the Waterloo School District to provide Pick a Better Snack, which is nutrition education to try and get children to maybe try a healthy snack that they might otherwise not have the opportunity to try at home. They worked with our partners at UNI and the City of Waterloo on 48 plots at the Highland Community Garden. I talked about this a little bit, so I won't dive too deep into it, but the pictures here, the one kind of on the left is the Highland Community Garden group. On the top right is Eden. She's a Green Iowa AmeriCorps member that served with us, and she's at Irving, I believe, Elementary, doing a garden lesson. And then on the bottom right, we have Catherine, who is our program coordinator for nutrition, who I think, based on the picture, bananas might be her lesson, but I think it was pineapple. I actually think it was pineapple. And so she's in a classroom providing that Pick a Better Snack lesson. Also in our community health team, we have cancer prevention and early detection programs. So Care for Yourself and Iowa Get Screened, which are breast and cervical cancer and colorectal cancer screening. Okay. And in FY23, 234 people were enrolled in cancer screening programs for Care for Yourself, and we helped to provide 213 mammograms. And Crystal is our program coordinator who's pictured here at the Focus on Diabetes event, I believe. In our environmental health team, this is where I have to get my metrics back out again. These are a few of the staff that work on our environmental health teams. So Eric is doing a pool inspection. In FY23, they did 85 pool inspections. Alex here is at a table out in the community for our childhood lead poisoning prevention program. She or the team on behalf of the program did 36 outreach events in our community. And Kelly here is doing something with the well, maybe a well inspection, and also we do water testing, and 198 water tests we provided. And so of all environmental inspections that were not food, we provided almost 1,000 of them, of services or inspections ranging from well plugging, reconstruction, water testing, septic systems, septic pumper inspections, healthy homes assessments, lead inspection risk assessments, healthy homes educational outreach events, which I mentioned, childhood lead poisoning prevention. We had 37 cases followed up on in FY23. As I mentioned, inspected 85 pools, 35 tattoo establishments, collected 176 mosquito surveillance samples, inspected 20 salvage yards and 6 rubble sites. So our non-food environmental team is very busy. And then our food team, not only do they provide inspections, which I'll talk about in a minute, but they also work with our communications team to do food safety education. And I have a video, and I'm really hoping it works. Did I break it?
Yeah, it worked, but.
1 second.
Okay.
Okay, what did you do? Can't pull the camera up.
I did break it. So the video that I'm trying to play, and hopefully we get it to play, is one of our foods. Do you want me to restart it? One of our food safety education reels that we put on social media channels. This one is on Instagram, which is why we have our Instagram tag.
media.
Okay, that's okay. We'll keep going. Well, this was the fun part. That's disappointing.
darn.
We'll keep going.
Oh, my.
All right. In addition to the reel, which I will find a way to share this with you guys, and if not, please check out our Instagram channel, because what was happening in the video is Gabby, who was our model in the video, puts a crock pot that's hot in the fridge instead of cooling it properly, and little bacteria come out and have a bacteria party. And so it's kind of a fun way to really emphasize the importance of properly cooling your food before storing it, so you do not have a bacteria party happening in your crock pot. Our communications team also did some education with Health Elf on a Shelf. And so our Health Elf on a Shelf is our food inspector, Matt Nogrikar. He somehow got roped into putting on this elf costume and posing for different videos. And so there's a series of educational sessions that we did throughout the month of December from the Health Elf on a Shelf. And can I try to play the video, or do you think it'll break?
Well, the whole camera's system's not working, so try.
We'll try. We'll see what happens. Nothing. Okay, I'll keep going.
If you want me to just try to close the PowerPoint camera working and retry it, you can do that. It'll just take a second.
What do you want to do?
It's up to you. If you want to try to play
Okay.
the video, we'll have to close the PowerPoint and restart it.
I'll just keep going. It's okay. Again, this is on, I think it might be frozen. Again, this is on our social media channels on Instagram and on our Facebook Reels. Yeah, go ahead.
Oh yeah, you crashed PowerPoint.
You did
So this is what I get for trying to show
something new and different. Yeah, that's all right.
trying to lighten up our in between the holiday week. So I can keep going. In addition to the food safety education, our team, what they do most of is provide inspections out in the field. And so in FY23, our environmental team that does food inspections provided 2,609 either food or hotel licenses and inspections. So they're a very busy team.
Okay, camera's back. That's sorry, I'm just gonna close that. All right. Okay. Let's get your PowerPoint back up. Which one? Which one? This one? Oh Lord! Open all of them.
One on top is the right one. Nope.
I'll let you drive.
Yeah. Although what I'll do is just go to the slide I was on. Are we sharing?
Oh, I'm sorry. No, we're not.
Oh, okay. So our team, like I said, with their food inspections have been very busy. And these numbers I don't have on my cheat sheet, so I need my slides.
So you'll be waiting. Yeah.
This one?
Yep, that one.
Here we go.
Okay, thank you. So of the total food inspections, as you can see, 127 were pre-opening, so new establishments that were opening, 801 are routine, 452 are follow-up, so there's something from the initial inspection that they needed to follow up on. 92 Our complaint inspections are not related to illness, and then they had 16 that were illness complaint inspections. And as we shared last week at our joint meeting, our complaints for food establishments are up quite a bit. And so we're kind of adjusting course to increase our frequency of scheduled inspections or scheduled for us, so we can try to avoid the complaint inspections, because once a complaint comes in, it automatically triggers that we would need to do a follow-up. There we go. With our public health clinic and our access to care programs, this is kind of a repeat of what I've shared previously, but had over 1,200 STI clinic encounters in our clinic, 41 child and adolescent health encounters, 152 services provided at the jail for STI testing or treatment, 13 at Bremer County for our child health grant and integrated testing services grant for HIV and hepatitis prevention. And then with our access to care program, so this is related to our child health grant, 2,434 children and families were informed of Medicaid benefits. So this program is part of that child health grant, where any newly eligible Medicaid child, we give them a call and inform them of the benefits that they have to try to encourage use of preventive care. And then assisted 29 children with presumptive eligibility for Medicaid, and this is primarily with our Hawkeye program, the child health insurance program. Okay, these are videos. If I play them, is it going to crash?
It might, or
All right, we'll give it a try.
Sexually transmitted infections are caused by bacteria, viruses, or parasites. Are you sexually active? 1 in 5 people in the U.S. have an STI. So what can you do? Talk, test, treat, prevent with Black Hawk County Public Health.
So these, the next couple of ads that I'm playing were...
Sexually transmitted infections are caused by bacteria, viruses, or parasites.
Were developed with grant funds for our HIV prevention grant. And so these are ads that play on digital streaming for, if you're watching YouTube or something. And so I just like to kind of show some of the ads, because it does a better job than I do sometimes.
We get it. You're busy, and there's never enough time. But your sexual health is important. Wouldn't it be great if there was a local, confidential, and free option for sexual health services? There is. Come see us at Black Hawk County Public Health.
So these ads are really just to promote our clinical services and encourage people to come in and get
We get it. You're
tested for STIs. Wrapping up with our public health center with child care nurse consultant visits, we provided support for 253 child care centers and daycare centers in our 4 county service area. And then for those 253 centers and daycares, it resulted in 677 visits or technical assistance contacts, and also the team provided immunization record review for 87 schools and child care centers in Black Hawk County. Our oral health team, I just wanted to put a couple of pictures in here of the van that the board helped us acquire with ARPA funds this year. The oral health team uses the van because they provide oral health screenings in 4 counties. In FY23, provided 4,776 screenings to about 3,600 children in 30 schools. And so this is the van that they use to load up their equipment and travel from school to school. It includes 2 chairs that they, exam chairs, and so it's a lot of equipment that they load up and take with them. And then the doula project is something that I haven't really talked a lot to the board about, but it's a pilot project that we're participating with the Iowa Department of Health and Human Services on to encourage doula support to improve maternal health outcomes. It's in partnership with Allen Women's Health, who has the maternal health grant with the Iowa Department of Health and Human Services. And so this is an initiative locally where we have 3 doulas that we contract with, and any pregnant individual that identifies as Black can get free doula services through this pilot project. And so this is, I think we're entering our 3rd year of the pilot program for that. Any questions for me on anything that I covered? Can I go back and try the videos?
Videos.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
I really want to show the health elf on a shelf, so let's do that.
Have questions about hand washing? Health Elf on a Shelf is here to help.
Wash your hands when you touch your face. Prepare your food. Eat your food. Touch your pets. And when you get home.
How long should I wash?
20 seconds. Or as long as this reel.
Let's see if this one will work.
Hey y'all, the worm crock pod is in the fridge.
You know what that means?
It's time for a bacteria party.
Don't let a bacteria party ruin your holiday party. Bacteria grow rapidly in temperatures between 40 and 140 degrees Fahrenheit. Cool leftovers quickly by refrigerating food in shallow containers.
Clean, separate, cook, chill. This has been a food safety message from Black Hawk County Public Health.
Okay, so I got to show all of our videos. Any questions for me?
I don't think so. No, thank you so much. It was fun to leave that anyway, so thank you.
Yes, the videos, you know, it's amazing what our content creation team does. You know, Gabby certainly does most of the work, but has help from our content creation team that are not, you know, graphic designers by training. They're public health professionals by training, so they come up with some really fun stuff to try to get the message across. So thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, we're looking forward to, I guess, Gabby helping all departments as well going forward and getting some of the word out, just the things that we've heard today in the last couple of weeks. Too.
Yes, yeah, and I will say I'm very excited for Gabby to join, and I'm hopeful that I can still utilize her every once in a while.
Oh, for
as
sure.
well.
Yeah, I think that's what we hoped for too. That was, yeah, I think she did as well.
Thank you.
Thank you. I don't know if anybody wants to make any comments or questions or anything for anyone.
This is all. It's all great.
I
mean, all of it's. I know there's a lot of time that folks spend sort of mentally in these jobs outside of their 9 to 5 or their 8:30 to 4:30, right? So, thanks everyone for. This is my first year, and so to be able to see it not too long ago as an outsider, and see the amount of work and forethought that goes into each decision is impressive, and so I just want to say thanks to everybody.
Yeah, I just want to thank everybody for a really excellent year, and I really do appreciate these recaps. It helps to, because there's so much stuff that happens across all these different departments throughout the year, and so this is a really great way to finish the year out.
Yeah. I don't know, Tom or Dan, just probably, if you have any comments or not, I don't want to cut you off if you do.
Nope, I just want to thank everybody for their presentations. It's very informative.
Thanks. I was just going to say, too, I'm so thankful for all of you taking your time to do these presentations. You know, it seemed like such a great idea a couple of months ago, and I said, in addition to all the work you're doing now and all that you, trouble that you went to put these presentations on in the busiest month probably, too, that you all have, and with the holidays and things. But I can't tell you how much I'm so pleased, but also so impressed by the presentations. They were so much better than I even expected, and so much information. And I hope it's a repeat that we do every year, because, like I said, I think it just captured so much of what the county's been doing. And collectively, we don't always know what each department's doing, and everybody is, we all know, a good team and works well together. But this just highlights, I think, some of the things that we do, and can't wait to see Gabby do a great job of getting more of this information out in the public so that the public can see all the great things too. And Henry, you really hit the nail on the head too. And I think when you said that in Yolanda's case, he doesn't receive enough praise, but I think that's true of all of our staff. I was going to say the department has worked so hard, and that's one of the things I always mention to people, that is probably a best kept secret around this county of how much our staff does and how much we accomplish and what they do together as well. And just can't say enough good things about them. So thank you all. And thanks for taking the time to do all this the last couple of weeks. So thank you. And thank you for attending today too. Now for the boring part of our meeting. This is our everyday business, but thank you very much.
I think Michelle's going to take some exception to that one.
To which part?
The boring part, and then we go to the claims.
I'm going to. Well, we'll see how exciting her report is. This is a resolution that the Board of Supervisors approve expenditures and that the county auditor be authorized and directed to issue checks against the various settlement of such claims as allowed.
So moved.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Michelle?
Well, thank you, Board, for this opportunity to talk with you. It's kind of exciting today, because this might be the lowest claim run that we've had in the last year, which I always think is a good thing.
Yeah.
So our total bill payment today is $222,004.47, and we have no payments from the 60/40 fund. Everything appears to be in order. We are paying for one vehicle, a pickup truck for conservation for $41,729. And we're also paying the annual renewal for our website hosting, Civic Plus, for just under $26,000. Those are the only significant things today. Any questions? I'm sure you want to discuss them.
Boring. Yeah. Please answer as your name is called.
Hall? Enthusiastically, yes. Little?
Yes.
Schwartz?
Yes.
Trolka?
Yes.
Leyland?
Yes. Item 5, receive project updates from department heads and elected officials.
Good morning, Board. Kathy Nicholas, County Engineer. Just very briefly this morning, there is a wintry mix forecast for this evening and into tomorrow afternoon or tomorrow morning. So our plows are standing by. And I also wanted to mention that Rick Wormerskirchen, he has been our road maintenance supervisor for he's been with the county for 21 years. He will be retiring on Friday. And we held interviews for his position last week, and hopefully later today we'll be making an announcement on his replacement. Can I answer any questions at this time? Thank you.
Thank you. Any others in the room? Any on Zoom that would like to update us? Item 6, minutes approved for December 19th, 2023.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor say aye.
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 Opposed, same sign. Minutes are approved. Later this morning, we'll have 3 hearings, one on the opening for purchase of steel to be used in the construction of Big Woods Road Bridge, the second for the vacation of a portion of Rickard Road, and the third for the local option sales tax. Item 8 is a consent agenda. The items are acted upon by a single resolution unless someone wishes to remove something for discussion.
So moved.
Second.
Please answer as your name is called.
Little?
Yes.
Schwartz?
Yes.
Trolka?
Yes.
Paul?
Yes.
Leyland?
Yes. Item 9 is other business. Motion that the training request submitted by Catherine Nicholas, County Engineer, be approved and direct the chair to sign for same $2,250 to attend the 2024 National Association of County Engineers Annual Conference from April 16 to April 19.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
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 Motion is carried. Opposed, I guess I should have asked. Item B, motion that upon the retirement of Deputy David Hines on January 31st, 2024, he be gifted his duty service weapon, as is the policy of Black Hawk County to gift a deputy sheriff with his or her duty service weapon, provided he or she leaves county employment in good standing and through voluntary retirement in accordance with the Iowa Public Employees Retirement System established guidelines and regulations.
So moved.
Second.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
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 Opposed, same sign, motion carries. Item C, motion to approve the request to extend an offer of employment, internal promotion, above the first half of the pay range for the position of road foreman, GS 16 scale.
So moved.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Kathy, did you wish to say something?
As I just told you, our longtime supervisor, we've renamed it to the road foreman. He is retiring at the end of this week. We would really like to get someone in place as soon as possible. I did send you an email about why I would like to go above the midpoint for this in offering a salary to this newest individual. Can I answer any questions on that?
Any questions? This is a motion. All in favor, say aye.
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 Opposed? Motion carries. Item D is 1027. It's a hearing and a bid opening for the purchase of steel to be used in the construction on Project L 1803 Big Woods Road Bridge. Motion to receive and place on file, proof of publication.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
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 Same sign. Item 2, motion to close the hearing after oral and written comments are received and placed on file.
So moved.
Second.
Mr. Jameson, are there any oral, or are there any written comments?
There's no written comments.
Thank you. Kathy? We'll move, go ahead. I was going to say bids, we'll move on to bids to be received, opened, and read. The bid the deadline was 3.
Oh,
I'm sorry, did I need to, all in favor, say aye.
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 Opposed, same sign. Thank you. Item 3, bids to be received, opened, and read. The bid deadline was 3 p.m. on Friday, December 22nd, 2023.
And we received one bid on Friday afternoon before 3 p.m. That bid is from Odin Enterprises, Wahoo, Nebraska. The bid is $40,120.77. 40,120.77.
Kathy, what do we have budgeted for that?
I can read it. We do have it on this sheet. $40,925.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you. Item 4 is a motion that the Board of Supervisors review and place on file the bids to allow time to review said bids as recommended by Catherine Nicholas, County Engineer.
So moved.
Second.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
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 Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Thank you. Item E, and the time is now 10:30 a.m., is a hearing on the vacation of Rickard Road request by Kemp J. Schmitz. I'm sorry. Could at least get your name right. I apologize. Motion to receive and place on file proof of publication of notice of public hearing.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
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 Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Motion to close the hearing as oral and written comments were received and placed on file.
So moved.
Second.
Second.
Any written comments? Mr. Jameson?
No, there's no written comments, sorry.
Thank you. All in favor, say aye.
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 Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. This is a resolution to consider any damages to property owners affected by vacating and conveying to the named individual the county-owned property.
So moved.
Second.
This is a resolution. Please answer as your name is called.
Schwartz,
Yes.
Trelka,
Yes.
Hall,
Yes.
Little,
Yes.
Leyland.
Yes. Item 4, this is a resolution that the Board of Supervisors vacate and convey to Kent Schmitz the county-owned property.
So moved.
Second.
Kathy, at what point did you want to address some of this?
Yeah, I
was
just
gonna
want to
say-
talk for
Please.
2 or 3 minutes so we're, so we're transparent about the process and
Yes.
what actually is being vacated. So, as a matter of where this is a 675-foot-long section of Rickard Road just west of Interstate 380. So as you know, 25 years ago, as 380 was built, right-of-way was acquired by the DOT. It split Rickard Road at that diagonal, cut it in half there, thereby rendering this portion in yellow pretty much not being used by anyone except the current landowner, the adjoining underlying title owner to this property. The county we have not plowed it, we have not done anything to that particular portion of road in 20 years? Since 380 was put in. There's no reason for us to be on that portion of the road anymore. We received a request from Mr. Ken Schmitz, it's been a couple years ago now, for us to vacate it. He did pay for the legal work at his own expense. Kyle Helland from Helland Engineering and Surveying. He surveyed the property already about 18 months ago. Mr. Schmitz did pay for that legal work. So now we have a description in which to put onto the quitclaim deed. In looking at our guidance from the Iowa DOT and in consulting with our county attorney, Mr. Trinan, it's very clear on the steps that we are to take. The code does provide specific steps in Section 306. We are to, if there are any damages, which there are not in this case, no one's being denied access. We are not having to pay for any bridges or culverts to be removed. There are no damages at all. We are entitled to publish a notice in the paper. That was done on December 16th. We are required, to send a notice to adjoining property owners. I usually send something within a mile radius. That's what we did. We did that by certified mail. We give notice to utility owners because they are afforded that they are allowed to be there regardless of whether or not we vacate it or not. We did have a request from Mid-American Energy that they would like their own easement with Mr. Schmitz. He has brought that along with him today. I will forward that to Mid-American Energy. They will have their permanent easement with him then as a matter of record without there being our easement in place. And then we have also received that notice from LaPorte City Utilities, LaPorte City Telephone. They have a fiber optic cable across the interstate. They will be working with Mr. Schmitz to get a permanent easement, which they have we have received verbal confirmation on that as well. So I believe we have followed all of our steps through the Iowa code that need to be followed, and we are ready for the vacation to take place. Can I answer any questions?
After 2 years, you're ready too, I assume. After 2 years, I assume you're ready as well. 3 years, okay. Thank you. Any questions for Kathy or any questions about this project?
Just maybe a quick question on the process when there are, Mid-American, I think you said LaPorte Utility.
Right.
Requesting those easements, is that, when we do our resolution, is it subject to those easements or not necessarily? Just a question out of process.
You said when we convey it, is it subject to easements? Typically, we make it subject to a utility easement, but to the extent there were easements that were granted by the person we're conveying it to, those extinguish automatically because title unifies.
Gotcha. Okay. Thanks.
Any other questions? Any other questions from other supervisors?
So the Laporte easement, they already secured that from the property owner?
They haven't contacted me yet.
In speaking with them about 10 days ago, they were, I failed to notify them verbally before we sent the letter to them. Mid-American, we've been dealing with them for a lot longer. I did speak with an individual at LaPorte City Telephone, and they told me they would get on that portion of the easement as soon as they could. With the holidays and all, he thought it might be a couple weeks, but in speaking with Mr. Smith, he has also given verbal approval that he will sign that easement with LaPorte City Telephone. So I felt with that verbal commitment on both parties that we should proceed. And the code does give utilities that right to remain there, even though we're giving up our right.
So he can't, once we approve this today, he can't deny Laporte.
I think you're looking at me for the answer. No, I don't. He couldn't deny Laporte if they want their easement, Tom, because of that section that Kathy's referring to.
Yeah, I understand. I just wanted to make sure that he didn't back out after we did this.
No, because they'd have an action against him, and potentially we'd be a party to it if indeed there was an attempt to back out of allowing the continuation of that utility easement.
Does that answer your question, Tom?
Yeah, I kind of wish this was all done before we voted on it, but I guess according to Mike, he has no choice. He's got to grant it.
That's correct.
And I can certainly follow up with both parties later this week and into the first few weeks in January to make sure that easement does get signed by Mr. Schmitz.
I was going to say, and that was a condition to the county granting the vacation as well. That was my understanding. Am I correct, Kathy, in that regard?
Right. We had told Mr. Schmitz that the code says we have to, the code does allow these utilities to retain their easements, even though we're giving up our rights.
That's right. And so we don't transfer that. We don't actually hand the deed over until we have the easement in place.
Okay. Yes. Okay.
And you were aware of that then, and so that's fine with you. Okay, great. Thank you, Mike. Thank you,
That
Kathy.
helps.
Anything else? Any other questions, Tom?
No, that's good. Thank you.
No, I'm going to ask you again. I think we did get the.
We have a motion and a second on 4, so.
Yes, thank you. Okay, please answer as your name is called.
Trelka,
Yes.
Hall,
Yes.
Little,
Yes.
Schwartz,
Yes.
Leyland.
Yes. Item 5 is a resolution to direct the chair to sign the final order of vacation, vacating, and conveying the county-owned property to Mr. Schmitz.
So moved.
Second?
Second.
Please answer as your name is called.
Hall,
Yes.
Little,
Yes.
Schwartz,
Yes.
Trelka,
Yes.
Leyland.
Yes. Item 6, resolution that the chair be directed to sign a quitclaim deed to the property named to Mr. Schmitz after today. This is a
So moved.
resolution. Please answer.
Oh, sorry.
Sorry. Go ahead, Chris. Thank you.
Oh, I just said so moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Please answer as your name is called.
Little,
Yes.
Schwartz,
Yes.
Trelka,
Yes.
Hall,
Yes.
Leyland.
Yes. Thank you. Okay, the last hearing, it's 10:40 today. There is a hearing on proposed ordinance number 146, establishing a local option sales and services tax applicable to transactions in the incorporated and unincorporated areas of Blackhawk County. Motion to receive and place on file proof of publication.
So moved.
So moved.
Second.
Second.
Moved and seconded. All in favor, say aye.
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 Opposed, same sign. Item 2, motion to close the hearing as oral and written comments were received and placed on file.
So moved.
Second.
Second.
Any written comments, Mr. Jameson?
There is no written comments.
All in favor, say aye.
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 Opposed, same sign. Item 3, motion to waive the first reading of ordinance number 146, establishing a local sales and services tax.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
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 Opposed, same sign. Item 4, resolution to suspend the rules requiring the Board of Supervisors to consider and vote on the proposed ordinance of 2 prior meetings.
So moved.
Second.
Second.
Please answer as your name is called.
Schwartz,
Yes.
Trelka,
Yes.
Little,
Yes.
Hall,
Yes.
Leyland.
Yes. And item 5, ordinance adoption that said ordinance number 146 entitled establishing a local sales and service tax applicable to transactions will be known as ordinance number 146.
So moved.
Second.
Please answer as your name is called.
Trelka,
Yes.
Hall,
Yes.
Little,
Yes.
Schwartz,
Yes.
Leyland.
Yes. Moving on to item 10, any reports or information from the board?
Just a really quick update on the logo committee. Committee met a week, maybe 2 weeks ago, with Corkery Creative. There is a survey that's out just to sort of fine tune some of those recommendations. So I would suspect that we'll have something from Corkery, knock on wood, sometime mid-January would be my guess. Yeah, it's moving along.
Thank you.
I just want to thank everyone that participated and made the holiday party such a big success. You know, my favorite part was seeing the big bright eyes on the kids as they saw all the lights and decorations and Santa arriving. And so I think we've created a really great new tradition for our employees and their families that I look forward to continuing.
I think I got the tan line for being inside Chris's house.
Thank you, Chris, too, for hosting.
Yes, thanks, Chris.
Any other reports or information from the board? Ask for a motion for adjournment.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
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 Opposed. Meeting's adjourned. Stop.